The World War II. Lazy Garden was so effective they had to bury it. The greatest trick World War II ever played on modern gardeners wasn't propaganda. It was silence. While bombs fell and ration books ruled daily life, civilians quietly used a gardening system so efficient it produced food with almost no labour. No backbreaking digging, no seasonal tilling, no chemical fixes. It worked frighteningly well. And then, almost overnight, it vanished from education. That should immediately raise your eyebrows. This wasn't laziness in the modern sense. This was wartime intelligence applied to soil. The lazy garden was built for exhausted people, limited tools, and shrinking calories. It delivered calories back, consistently. The real question isn't how it worked, it's why it stopped being taught. Let's get into it. The lazy garden was born from survival, not comfort. World War II forced civilians into an uncomfortable truth. Food security was no longer guaranteed. Imports collapsed. Fuel was rationed. Labour was scarce. People were tired, underfed, and working longer hours than ever. Gardening manuals of the era didn't preach hustle. They preached efficiency. The lazy garden emerged as a response to physical exhaustion and material shortages. The goal wasn't aesthetics. It wasn't yield per square foot charts. It was calories per hour of human effort. That distinction matters. This system assumed three things. You had poor soil, you had little time, you had fewer tools than before the war. So the method worked with biology instead of fighting it. The system eliminated digging because digging was a waste of energy. The lazy garden rejected tilling entirely, not reduced tilling, no tilling. Digging was seen as destructive, not productive. Turning soil exposed moisture to evaporation, killed microbial life, and brought dormant weed seeds to the surface. That meant more work later. Instead, gardeners layered organic matter directly on top of the ground. Kitchen scraps, straw, leaves, paper, anything that could rot. This created a living mulch that fed soil organisms from above, just like a forest floor. Roots pushed down naturally. Worms did the digging. Microbes handled nutrient cycling. Humans conserved calories. That single decision changed everything. Soil improved itself instead of being depleted. Conventional gardening extracts nutrients and then replaces them with effort or fertilizer. The lazy garden flipped that equation. Organic matter broke down slowly, feeding the soil continuously. There was no off-season where the ground sat naked and eroded. The soil became darker, looser, and more water-retentive over time. Not through intervention, through restraint. Gardeners noticed yields increased each year without additional work. That alone should tell you this system wasn't primitive. It was biologically informed before biology became fashionable. Weeds were controlled by suffocation, not struggle. Anyone who has gardened knows weeds are the real labour sink. The lazy garden solved this brutally and quietly. Thick mulch blocked light. Weed seeds never germinated. Perennial weeds weakened and died without ever being pulled. No hoeing, no kneeling, no seasonal battles. This mattered during World War II because time and energy were rationed just like food. A system that prevented labour was more valuable than one that demanded it. The lazy garden required almost nothing. No ploughs, no fuel, no specialised equipment. A knife, a container, and organic waste were enough. That made it resilient during shortages and accessible to nearly everyone. It also meant fewer points of failure. When a system depends on machines, chemicals, or constant intervention, it collapses when supply chains do. World War II proved that lesson repeatedly. This garden didn't collapse, it adapted. So why did gardening education abandon it? Here's where things get uncomfortable. After World War II, food scarcity vanished in industrialized countries. Cheap fuel returned. Chemical fertilizers exploded onto the market. Machinery became the new symbol of progress. Gardening shifted from survival to productivity theatre. High-effort gardening justified selling inputs, tools, fertilizers, pesticides. Instructional systems followed the money. A method that required patience and decomposition didn't sell well in a post-war economy obsessed with speed and control. Lazy gardens also challenged authority. They worked without expert oversight. They relied on observation instead of prescriptions. That made them dangerous to centralized agricultural narratives, so they faded out. Not because they failed, because they succeeded too quietly. This system wasn't lazy, it was disciplined. Calling it a lazy garden was misleading even then. The labor wasn't removed. It was front-loaded into thinking instead of muscle. Gardeners planned layers. They observed moisture. They respected soil biology. The payoff was years of food with minimal maintenance. That kind of discipline doesn't photograph well, but it feeds people when systems break. How this knowledge applies right now. Modern gardeners are burned out. Soil is exhausted, inputs are expensive, time is scarce. Sound familiar? The Lazy Garden offers direct solutions. Start with the ground you have. Do not dig it. Lay down cardboard to block existing growth. Add organic matter generously, thicker than feels reasonable. Plant directly into that layer. Keep adding material as it breaks down. Water less. Trust the mulch. Let roots find their way. This isn't theory, it's replication. Applying the Lazy Garden on a small scale today. You don't need land. A backyard patch works. Even containers can mimic the method. Use food scraps, shredded paper, yard waste. Avoid bare soil at all costs. Every exposed inch is lost moisture and lost fertility. Plant hardy crops first. Potatoes thrive in layered systems. Squash spreads and shades. Beans fix nitrogen without assistance. Observe more than you intervene. If something struggles, add organic matter instead of force. That restraint is the hardest skill to relearn. Why survivalists should care deeply about this. In a crisis, calories matter. Energy conservation matters more. A system that produces food while requiring less work compounds advantage. The Lazy Garden reduces dependence on tools, fuel, and external inputs. It scales down effortlessly. It survives neglect. It improves itself over time. That's exactly what resilience looks like. The final reason this system disappeared. High-effort gardening became normal because it kept people busy. Busy people don't question systems. They blame themselves for failure. They buy more solutions. A garden that quietly improves while asking for patience instead of pain doesn't fit that model. But World War II didn't care about appearances. It cared about survival. And that's why this system deserves to be remembered. If this changed how you think about gardening, soil, or survival, make sure you're subscribed to Old World Prep. Share this with someone who still thinks hard work is the same thing as smart work. History already solved this problem once. It's time we listened again.